Hello, DeFi Dorks, and welcome to the Jade Protocol Sunday Saga with me, Chris Pantelli. And this is week ending the 6th of Feb 2022. And as always, let's start with a quick disclaimer.
Hi. Any information or opinions expressed on the DeFi Dorks YouTube channel are not to be considered or constituted as financial or investment advice. It is purely informational. Do your own research and enjoy the crypto journey.
Okay, so now all that good stuff is through. A quick intro. Today, I'm just going to let you know straight off the bat that I will be reducing the Jade Protocol Sunday Saga videos to one per month to try and coincide with the fund reports. So the Sunday closest to the release of that month's fund report, and we'll see how we get on from there. This project has completely moved away from anything that remotely resembles a short-term investment. And if you're holding or staking in Jade, then if it's something that you want to continue doing, then I think you do need to have a much more long-term perspective on the project. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I think it's important to reduce these videos and try and take a much more holistic look at the project as a whole. Okay, so this week's saga, I'll give you a quick update on DeFi Dorks, and then we'll move straight into it. So just a couple of the projects that I'm currently in one is the Universe Money project. So that's the UNIV token. I'm compounding that about 4 times a day, and I'm still quite bullish on that project. There is a fair bit happening in the Discord channel for the Universe Money token, and it's worth diving in there. A lot of opinions are raging. They have made some major changes, but they seem pretty good for the sustainability of the project. They did listen to the community in terms of creating your node or your planet, and by removing that node creation tax completely. There was a 28% tax, I believe, for the creation of a node or a planet. They've removed that as per the community, and they've also reduced the rewards. So they were set at a 4% daily. That's been reduced to a 3% base rate, and then the incremental bonuses on top of that. And there's also a tax on compounding and a tax on claiming. The compound tax has been reduced slightly, and the claim tax has been increased slightly. And I will make a video on this in coming weeks as well. It's a very interesting project. Got into that one quite early for not too much money, so it'd be interesting to see where that one goes. And I am still very, very, very bullish on Vapor nodes. That's another node project which I'm in. And that one I am compounding once a day. I made a slight mistake with that and managed to claim some of my rewards and knocked down my diamond hand bonus. So it's taken me nearly 15 days to get that back up to 1.4%. You go from 1% to 1.2% to 1.4% through those diamond tier hand bonuses. But they are making some major changes as well, which is really exciting to see. And that should be happening later today as per the recording of this video, where they will be introducing a reward bonus structure that favors smaller node sizes. So they will be introducing a lower tier entry point in order to get into that node project, currently at about 15,000 VPND, which is the native token, I think, to start a node. That will be reduced. And they will be having incremental reward bonuses which are higher the lower the node size, which is really interesting. So that's an active way to try and get community members involved with smaller sized accounts and a more incentive to compound and grow your node faster. And they are also introducing a referral program, which I think is probably one of the first node projects to do that. I know Drip has something similar, but I think this is going to be much more of sort of an affiliate style reward program, which could do wonders for the marketing of that project. But I will keep you posted on that as well. So straight into the Jade Protocol. Let's take a look at last week's stats and then dive into this week's platform as well and see what's going on. So we're at a current price of $21.09. If you've been looking at the price charts for this, then you will see it has been as flat as a pancake. Let's just scale out onto this. And this is just the buy bot doing its thing. We did have a slight bump on the 1st of Feb, which was to be expected. That was the release of the fund report. Nowhere near as high. I think I made a prediction of about 35. We came up about $5, and that instantly sold off back, and it's been leveling out ever since. So in the market conditions that we're currently in, Jade price is holding steady. I think it is a really bullish sentiment to have a project which is able to have implemented an algorithmic automatic buy bot functionality, which is maintaining the price at a level for which is set as the floor price. And as we've seen with the debacle with Time Wonderland and not having that automatic functionality built into the platform, has had disastrous effects for holders and people involved with that project. Whereas Jade was able to deliver, and this is been holding steady now, as you can see. So it's nice to see. I mean, a lot of people that have been involved in this project may be very disappointed from the highs that we were at, especially, if you got in around here. This isn't much to get excited about to be steady at this price. But, it is what it is. It's currently what is happening with the markets. Jade has completely moved away from what it originally was. It is no longer a rebase token. It is not paying out rewards. Crazy APYs. It is now an investment treasury. So that is something to be aware of. I don't claim to be in any way a financial or investment advisor. I'm purely just giving you my feelings with regards to this particular project. It was one of the first major projects I got into. It's been tumultuous, to say the least, ups and downs. At least we found sort of a base level now for where we're at and what's happening. Yeah, we'll get into that more. So last week we had a price of 21.51. And this week, currently 21.09. So ever so slightly decrease in the price. Fair market value has risen slightly at 189.94, and we were at 177.11. And the floor price was at $20.93, and we are now currently still at $20.93. The circulating supply of Jade has changed almost insignificantly. I don't know what this thing is here. 1,175,272, and we were at 1,175,271. And these elements on the dashboard have changed slightly in their wording. So we did have a backing treasury and an investment treasury. This has now changed to the backing treasury and the total Jade treasury assets. So this is everything that's been invested. And also the amount of staked Jade has risen slightly as well. We're up to just shy of 71%, and we were hovering around 68.5%. So that's the stats, as you can see, pretty flat. But we did get that small bump in price as per the release of the first fund report on the 1st of February. And we actually now have another button on the dashboard here, which takes you to the first fund report. So we can click on that. We'll dive into that momentarily, but I'll just walk you through a few things first. So the Jade Protocol Twitter. We were told this prior to the fund report. John Ray, as always, doing a fantastic job, being really, really active. And Jade actually did make a comment as well with regards to their Twitter, that they'll be releasing much more project-specific information. And if you want to be an active follower of the community, then follow John Ray. Turn on notifications for him as well, and you can be kept up to date with what's going on via John Ray's account as a community liaison officer. That is his role. And he's constantly giving great bits of information with regards to the project on a daily basis. So he is worth following. They made their first seed investment into a project called DEX Pools, which combines peer-to-peer OTC trading, NFT swapping, lending and borrowing into a single multi-chain platform for DeFi traders, NFT collectors and gamers. You can go and check that out. And that's also mentioned in the fund report as well. It's in open beta, and DEX Pools anticipates a launch in March with support on Open 5 change. Quite an interesting project. We did see a significant boost in their user activity with the injection of Jade community members. So I think they had about 1,000 people hop onto that platform to test it out within the just a short period of time after the release of the information. And another interesting part of this particular seed investment on the Jade team is that they are going to be airdropping 50% of the tokens that they received from their investment to stakers of Jade. So if this is a project that interests you, if you think that it has longevity and the chance to produce a healthy return, then if you maintain your Jade tokens, keep hold of them, then you will get a portion of that 50% tokens as in the form of an airdrop. So that's definitely worth checking. We've got we had an AMA immediately following the fund report on the Discord. So that was relatively interesting. I'll be honest, and that was with Gavin. Now, I'll show you what I put in the Discord. I took some screenshots. I was a little bit disappointed, to be perfectly honest with you. We had the release of the fund report, and basically we lost money. We made this first seed investment, which obviously hasn't really done a lot, but the investment which they made into liquid coins has lost money. So I'll show you what I put, and then you can see what your views are on that. If I just zoom in here. So this was in the AMA on the 1st of Feb. I put, I respect the transparency, but come on, Gavin Montgomery, posting a significant loss in the first fund report. I am only still in this project because of John Ray, and I imagine a lot of people agree with me. He is actually delivering value day in, day out. Give him the keys to the whole empire. Let him manage the $70 million treasury and transition Jade into Project X. Clearly, the team behind Jade are marketers, not investors. I'm sorry to be harsh, but anon investors with failure after failure, whilst your most public-facing advocate is on the battleground, is reminiscent of times of old. The king, Einstein, watches on as his most trusted soldier wields the swords. The project will die a death unless it delivers a fatal blow to the naysayers and critics alike. But unfortunately, as more and more time passes without tangible results, their words will start to ring true. This started as a DAO. I propose a vote to remove Einstein from office and appoint John Ray as CEO forthwith. This obviously received unanimous down votes, which is fine. The sentiment didn't ring true within the rest of the community. And I probably wrote this quite rashly. I did think about it, but I'll show you the response and then I'll dive into what my thoughts were. So this was from Gavin. Hi, Chris. Thank you for the comment. We measure ourselves in 3 ways against USD, ETH, and BTC benchmarks. The entire ecosystem ranged from about 20 to 50% down in January, so at a minus 9% total, while we are still beating key benchmarks. And to be clear, this isn't a win, and we don't classify it as such. But you'd be very hard-pressed to find a fund manager in all of crypto or traditional equities that was posting a mark-to-market NAV with a win in January. So, and then someone mentioned that the vote didn't pass, and then somebody else said John Ray is our best burden, is our beast of burden. He asked for more, and so he got more. When he feels like he wants to take on more, I'm sure he will. And then John Ray also made a post as well. Trust me, you want Gavin Montgomery running the treasury, not me. I'm good at building. Gavin is great at investing. Everyone on the team has a speciality, and that's going to be powerful as it plays over time. Teamwork makes the dream work. So let's dive into the fund report, and I can show you what my feelings were and why I drew those conclusions. So this was what was released on the 1st of Feb to summarize basically the Jade Protocol investment activities for the month of January. And I'll read through it. And then I can let you. Basically, my view was we've had so much hype on this project with the transition and the iterations, and John Ray taking on an offshoot of the project in the form of Project X, which for me, that particular project, which is for the smart and smarter holders, is being run in the way that I would like to see a project such as this being run. So much open communication, so much alpha being discussed in the Discord groups. In for that particular community, so much transparency that John Ray is providing on the Twitter accounts. And I really, really think that there is so much scope and room. And I could really see if I was directly invested into that particular project alone, then I could really feel trusted with my money and with what that team, particularly under the direction of John Ray, was going to be able to deliver. Now, with Jade, we had all of the childish interactions from Einstein at the beginning. He has now gone silent over, the past month. I respect and understand that what they are trying to do is transition, and I think that they have done that successfully to an extent, and for that I am grateful. But we don't seem to have a clear leader for this particular project. So what I was hoping for was that when the fund report was released, that would speak volumes, and the silence from Einstein under his leadership would be would not be something to be concerned about, because the fund report would speak for itself. And unfortunately, the fund report has just shown a loss, and quite a significant loss as well. And I respect and understand that the current market conditions blanket wide are down, but I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare the performance of a particular currency. So their benchmarks are BTC and ETH, to then show the actual performance of the portfolio in relation to the actual performance of that native currency, because the two and two don't go hand in hand. We don't compare the growth of the S&P 500 based on the relative strength of the US dollar against the British pound. So I don't think it's a fair comparison, and I just think it's such a shame. I mean, it's still very early on, and you need to do your own research and see how you personally feel. For me, I'm in this anyway. I'm not going to sell at a loss. I'd like to see this thing go up to about $100, but the first month, it doesn't look great. Although the transparency has been a lot better and a lot clearer, we are down overall. So I'll just do a read through of the quick intro and give you some running commentary on my thoughts, and then we'll call it a day for this particular Sunday saga. So they open with, it's been a roller coaster start to the year for the crypto markets and global financial markets as a whole. Altcoins have had particularly significant drawdowns, which are both a function of challenged tokenomics in many cases, combined with global macro uncertainty around the financial posture of the US Federal Reserve and its actions to fight inflation. Below, you'll find an update on the Jade investment treasury, as well as some commentary about our investments and overall positions going forward. So we started with an investment treasury of about 24.9 million at the start of the year. And this is lower because when they were converting those assets into stables, obviously there was a significant price dip in Jade, which meant some of the BUSD and Jade LP was obviously being sold into at a loss. Since then, they have deployed nearly $16 million with approximately 9 million in stablecoins not yet deployed. And at the end of January, the investment treasury sits at a net with a mark-to-market net asset value of around 22.6 million, although this is a 9.2% decrease for the month. They are saying that they have outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin with an alpha of 20.4% and 10.5% respectively. And I just gave you my views on why I don't think that is a particularly valid comparison. None of this includes our backing treasury, so that's reserved to the buy bot on the Jade token floor price, and that's all held in stable coins. And then they've got obviously the transparency here where you can track the wallet. One of the wallets isn't set up yet, and the Gelato Uniswap values are currently missing from the wallet, but that's all good to see. Good stuff. And then obviously you can see here their alpha comparisons to Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then overall their actual loss for the month, which is set at 9.2%. Now, just because Ethereum against the dollar and Bitcoin against the dollar has fallen 19.7 and 29.7% respectively, Jade isn't an independent currency. You know, we're investing in the Jade Protocol, which is an investment treasury, and therefore those investments should be what's judged, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And then obviously the report then goes into a breakdown of where that money has gone. And this is where things were lost, or most of these investments are still active. So CVX, Ion on Osmosis, Osmo, Tribe, this position was exited, and FXS. And then you can see the percentage change at the time of the publication of this fund report. And these are liquid token investments. So if they are making an investment in liquid tokens, which I suppose for this particular element of the treasury, that investment is in liquid tokens. So I suppose in that regard, the comparison is valid. they're invested in a liquid token. So to have that token fall, it is a valid comparison from one currency to another, one liquid token to another. So for, in this case, CBX versus the fall or rise in the price of Bitcoin or Ether, valid to an extent. But for me, this doesn't really get me excited. I could personally just go and invest in liquid tokens myself. John Ray holds high hope, and he has a lot of faith in this particular team, and I have a lot of faith in John Ray. So I'm going to bite my tongue on this one. It's only the first month's report. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm going to try and not be as opinionated with the fundamental parts of cryptocurrency. I am yet to still fully understand and grasp. It's very difficult to bridge your knowledge from a more traditional finance sense to the tokenomics and workings of the crypto market. Therefore, I don't believe I am in any way the best position to make any form of opinion without more research and more time involved in this space. So I don't proclaim to be any sort of expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a normal person who is invested in this project. I want to understand more, and I want to see a return on my investment, or at least I want to be trusting the people at the helm of the treasury. I trust John Ray. I think the jury for me is still out on this particular team. Let's just wrap up with their particular view on where the markets are going. They've got the outlook of these particular projects. I won't dive into this. You can find the link for this directly from the Jade Protocol website for the first fund report. And their overall view for the markets is they are going to be cautious short term, which makes sense. And then they're going to be keeping significant reserves in stablecoin yield farms for the near future. So I would like to see a big investment. This is their first one, the Dex Pools one. Let's see what happens with that. Let's see what happens with the project. Let's try and stay positive. I know I made the comment in the Discord group, which I suppose in hindsight I should apologize for. I am a community member. I probably should start acting more like a positive community member. It's very, very disappointing when you get, a silent CEO. He's meant to be our fearless leader at the helm of this crazy adventure. And Einstein's been silent, and the person who is down in the trenches getting their hands dirty is John Ray. And John Ray's off with Project X, which is a subsidiary of the Jade Protocol project. If he does well, we'll do well. But I was hoping that this first fund report would be something to put my mind at ease for the people directly running the project. And for me, where I currently stand, it's not quite there yet. Let's see what happens with the next fund report. Everybody stay safe in crypto. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give me a follow on Twitter and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're not as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next month. Take care.